Hey, hey! You're on the front yard with TheEZGZ. It's Valerie's birthday. And for a birthday present, I gave her a Pertonix Flamethrower vacuum mechanical advanced distributor, and it made a dramatic improvement, and I want to share those details with you. And we'll just do a little once over. We don't do a lot of videos of Valerie. This was my son's first car. He bought it in 1992, and we've had it in the family ever since. She's had some close calls, some near misses, a few bumps and bruises, but we still got her. And I always think that maybe someday he'll want her back, because I don't have the time or the interest in this particular car to really do everything that needs to be done. And right now my son's got 3 kids, you know, 3 children. Lily and Lincoln are twins, and they're like 2 years old, and Cecilia is 4 years old. Listen how nice this thing is running. Nice and low and quiet. I bought this Pertonix distributor at a swap meet, and it had a burned out module in it. The guy told me, he says, I'll be honest with you, it's not any good. He says it's got a burned out module. But the housing and everything looked like it was new. And it had a cap on it, and it had that vacuum pot, and I thought, well, maybe I can use some parts off of it. So I brought it home, and I got to looking at it, and I thought, well, maybe I can convert it back to, you know, just standard points. And the more I looked at it, I thought, well, I'm going to see what those modules go for. And I was reading in the sales literature, they say that this particular mechanical vacuum distributor will not work on a 30 pick 1 carburetor. And lo and behold, that's what I'm running on this engine in my tub buggy, a 1776 with a stock cam and a 30 pick 1 carburetor that I'm proud to say has gotten almost 30 miles to the gallon here recently on a test drive. And we're going to do some more, because with the rainy weather in the afternoons, it's been such a wet year, I can't imagine. So we just haven't been putting as many miles on it as we would like to. But the mechanical 009 distributor is working very well with the 30 pick 1 carb. And it said that this distributor would work very well with the 34 pick 3 carb. And I had a 009 in here that was working pretty good, a standard 009 mechanical advance only distributor. And so I tried this out. I ordered a new module, 75 bucks, put that in there. The distributor was 10, so I got 85 in it. They appear to be selling for about 150. But now that I've seen the results of this, I wanted to share it with you guys and tell you that I'm very pleased. If you're running a stock cam in a 1600, this happens to be a 1776, but I'm sure if you had a 1641 or whatever, I'm running stock muffler, so I have good heat in my manifold. It has the crossover pipe. I have the big bore tips on it for a little bit less restriction and get rid of that chain link fence sound that they typically make. And I just figured it could use a little extra breathing. These things are really choked down. Exhaust is one of the important things that you can do to free up some extra power on any of these Volkswagens. But you get more noise, and my son, I have a ceramic header system that fits on this car just dandy. But you have to be careful, because the thing will scrape. If you go on speed bumps, and if you have any speed at all, it'll bounce and hit that muffler, and I don't like that. We have an adjustable front end on this car, and so if you lower the front end and leave the back alone, that'll give you a little bit more clearance with your muffler. But you can hear this engine. It's idling slower than it ever has. Like I said, it's all stock. I wish I could tell you what jets were in the carburetor. Someone's probably going to ask. I can't really tell you. At the time that I built this thing, I got the drill bits out, orifice drills, not just your twist drills for your dad's drill index, but I got some special little drill bits, and I drilled out the holes. I had to increase the idle jet, and I think I've got a 130 main jet in here. Don't quote me on that, but I don't know what I drilled out that idle jet to, and it's working better than it ever has before. I'm going to shut this thing down. I love this little car. Every time I ride in it or do anything, I think of my son, and I miss my family so much. He's in Oregon and I'm here in Colorado, and it doesn't look like we're going to get together this year, but this was his ride, and it sure is a cool little car. And you know, I keep forgetting, I'm glad I looked down here. One of my viewers sent me these taillight gaskets, and I don't encourage gifts and things like that. And he said, I noticed Valerie's taillight gaskets look a little sad. They're so dried out, they're falling off. And I was looking at this, and it just, gravity is holding them there. And I have a burned out taillight on that side, so since it was Valerie's birthday, I was driving it and remembering my son and missing my family, and I thought I'd give old Valerie some love. And I had somebody that does have a YouTube channel and always leaves nice comments and has a great channel himself, and you know him as Rusty Glovebox, and I'm going to leave a link to his channel in the description. He sent me this Volkswagen magazine from 1971, and it was really fun to look through this and reminisce. And I'll tell you, this is why we have so many misconceptions nowadays. Then as now, these magazines are here to inform you and entertain you, as well as make money. Sometimes I think money is the main importance, because there are so many false things in here and lies. In this particular article back in 1971, they're talking about taking a 1600 and it says the basic engine of 1500 cc's increased to 1700 by increasing the bore size to 88, putting in a cam, and oh my God, they put 48 IDA Webers on it, and they did some head work here, and they're claiming, look at the final product here, it looks like a Type 3 fan on the back, and a split exhaust. They didn't even use a 4-into-1 exhaust. They're claiming that this engine makes horsepower in the 150 horsepower range. Not so bad for a conservative street engine. Oh my God, that's so much bullshit. We all know now that that's just not the way to go. You would want to use a 4-in-1 exhaust, and for a typical street engine you would want something with a they don't even give the brand of the cam. They just tell the inlet opens here, the next 15-degree angle is ground on the top. I think they're doing like a multi-angle valve job, which is always a good thing. That is a good thing. It looks like they're using heavy-duty single springs and retainers, and they're claiming 150 horsepower. That's not realistic, guys. No, that's not going to happen at any kind of sensible RPM. And IDA carburetors are on and off carburetors. The fuel mileage would be less than 15 miles to the gallon in something like this. The performance is never going to be there with these glass back headers. This is just stupid. But this is the way they did things, you know, and it was fun to look at the advertisements and things that were in here and some of the prices and stuff like that. Thank you, Rusty. This was really fun to go back in time and look at these round counterweighted cranks. They made full circle cranks. That is just bullshit too. That just it doesn't do you a thing. The idea was it was supposed to prevent foaming and make it oil better. You know, you put on an extra deep sump oil cooler on your car, and you won't have those kinds of issues. And let's see, what I think I've got one on Rusty. You know what I'm talking about here. You know, these are some little 40 DCNF carburetors, and I've got the extra sump oil cooler because this revs quicker, and you don't have to have as much oil in it. I run like a half a quart below the full mark just because I know I have that extra oil down below, and that's how you can help with, you don't need no full circle crank. That's almost impossible to balance. Doesn't do you any good, doesn't make you any horsepower, doesn't make your bearings last any longer. It's wrong. Nobody even makes one nowadays as far as I know. maybe somebody does, and sorry if it's your favorite. I don't mean to badmouth. I try not to do that on this channel, but you know, this was fun. And they did talk about camshaft manufacturers, and they never made a recommendation ever in the whole magazine. They just said all these people were making camshafts that you don't even hear about them being too popular anymore. Crower and let's see, Sig Earson. I imagine if you called Sig Earson right now and asked them for a Volkswagen cam, they'd laugh. There's too many places that they'd have to make a one-off. They'd have to set it up and tool it for it. Back in this time, they probably made hundreds or thousands of them. They made a run, and that's how it's cost-effective to make or manufacture anything, is to make. You don't produce things one at a time. You lose your money. A Weber's VW cam range from mild to wild. An article, this kit, Raoul Balakin, what's this one? Scat Enterprises. They're still around. That's a good Scat. Scat's a great manufacturer. Scat, Engel, you know, depends on what you want. And yeah, typical little things here. Kind of fun to look through it. Different wheel styles and mods on handling, and yeah, different types of setups. Or spark plugs, Champion spark plug. I wouldn't run a Champion spark plug in my Volkswagen engine if they were free. I don't like them. The threads aren't correct. You have a thread showing inside the cylinder. It fills up with carbon. Every time you take a thread out, you're damaging the threads in your spark plug hole. And by the way, I never torque my spark plugs down to no 25 foot-pounds. In the first place, you can't get at it in a sedan very well. And, oh, that's a cool buggy with some big old tires. Big old tires. Guess what? I got the big old tires on the tub buggy, and my bearings are bad. Less than 200-300 miles with this setup, and my bearings are so noisy. I'm going to put a new set of bearings in there, so stay tuned for that. And, oh, well, just fun stuff, and beautiful summer day. Hope you make the best of your day. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subbing. TheEZGZ out.